Hey guys, it's me. I'm currently in Arizona, so I am pre-recording this just in case I can't be there in class on Monday. And if you are seeing this, I'm most likely not in class, or I have really bad cell service because we're driving back through the desert. So I still wanted to walk us through our week 8 online building class learning and share what I made with you guys. Alright, well, welcome to my presentation of my EDU830 online blended learning technology or teaching methodologies for the class I created. So just dive into this quick overview. The class I created is EDU830. It's kind of more designed similar to classes that I've previously designed, but this one is Advanced Effective Coaching Strategies, but I did change it to an online blended learning, so I am implementing more technology strategies and trying to become more innovative with this day and age to teach young coaches how to continue to develop their own coaching strategies, but also use technology to implement and become better coaches. So overall, the students that take this class will have a greater understanding of movement education, strength and conditioning, and how to teach these type of skills through coaching. And then they will be creating meaningful interactions with partners and groups to help develop and understand how to build a team culture and a team community that they can utilize in any setting for coaching. So I broke it down into 3 modules. My first module is really covering the ability to demonstrate and recognize and improve student skills through coaching. And how they're going to do this is they're going to be able to properly identify key movements and focuses, then demonstrate insightful feedback through different situations. So, for example, week 1, well, technically week 2, is covering scaffolding and zonal proximal development. So the way I have it designed is the instructor, myself, would be taking the class through about a 20-minute workout, and I would be providing scaffolding strategies, breaking down what we are focusing on, what are the key movements, what are some key points to keep an eye on, have the class go through that, and then also talk about what zonal proximal development is. They should have a background, since this is an upper division class, of what a Vygotsky's theory is, but then just working with them to show them how they can apply it in a class situation. So we go through this workout. I use both of these coaching techniques and demonstrate how I can use it. And then I would have the students break up into small groups, and pretty much groups of 2 to 3, and I would have them practice their own scaffolding and zonal proximal development. So what they would do is they go on YouTube, they find a workout that they can relate to or something that they can follow along with, and then they're going to use scaffolding to demonstrate it to their partners in their group, and then use zonal proximal development so that way they can start to implement those coaching strategies and understand how to use scaffolding, what are appropriate times to use zonal proximal development, how to use these strategies, and different ways like that. And then the following week, we'd be implementing a new coaching strategy, which would be verbal feedback. So kind of similar, we run the class through a workout. I explain to them how we use verbal feedback in a coaching setting, what the pros, what are the cons, maybe why I use it in different situations over other situations. Again, I would use some type of scaffolding and modeling where I would demonstrate to the class how I would use it in a coaching situation. And then I would break them up into groups and have them practice giving verbal feedback to each other. And as myself, as an instructor, I'd be walking around providing additional verbal feedback to the students while they're interacting with their groups and providing their own feedback. And that way they can learn through their own practice and kind of trial and error to figure out what really works and provide that additional feedback of things that maybe they didn't think of, but a little other things that they can keep using for their teaching techniques and teaching strategies. And then the second module is kind of where we start to break it down more to the technology usage. So this is where we're really going to have students demonstrate the ability to develop personal and interpersonal goals amongst the students, and then provide evidence analysis through their assignments and participation. So, I forgot to mention previously, let me go back. In this module 1, students are also going to be doing some research, and they're going to be writing small literature of reviews, kind of more annotated bibs, where they're going to research how scaffolding, verbal feedback, ZPD can be used. They're going to write a small reflection paper about kind of how they did in the class, and then you seeing through literature how other either studies or techniques can be used to also implement these, so they can get a better idea, because ultimately in Module 3, that's when they're going to really try to apply it into the practicum. So going back to Module 2, like I said, this is kind of just implementing more strategy. So week 3, we'll be working on more, week 4, we'll be working on video feedback. So this is where we kind of play around a little bit with technology. So we have different coaches apps, different ways that we can use video and visual feedback versus just giving the traditional verbal feedback and just kind of words of encouragement. And then going into the next week, we're going to tie this with a film reflection. So during week 4, during the video feedback, we are going to film them. They do get to kind of go back and watch how they were as a coaches, see what their students' reactions were, how receptive the students were, understanding how them as coaches were trying and tie into their students' goals. And then activity 5 is more kind of understanding what we are. So understanding as a coach what our tendencies are, being aware that yes, we are human and that we are going to make mistakes, but it's our job as a coach is to keep working through those and growing as an individual to help our students continue to grow. So then Module 3 is where we're putting it all together. So this is where students can take all the information they learned during the first couple weeks, and they are going to find a population of their own choosing, and they're going to complete a 30-minute workout. They're going to use any of or all these coaching skills that they've learned through this course, and they're going to implement it and see how well they can take an activity they're choosing and really execute it. At the end of this, the participants are going to complete a small survey just so the students can assess where their strengths were, what they did well, what they didn't well, because there are times that we think we nailed something and then realistically we get feedback and go, okay, maybe I didn't do it as well as I thought I would. And so they're going to take all of this, they are going to apply it into a practicum paper, so kind of similar to what they took with their former little papers. They're going to combine those and really apply and explain why they were using scaffolding techniques the way they're using it, why they use the video feedback, when and how they used it, and kind of using those strategies to create their own. And then they'll create a presentation, kind of just an overview on their experience as a practicum, and again, anything they found in their research that really eye-opened them. So because this is an online blended course, I did decide to go with Canvas. I have used Canvas before when I have taught. Honestly, this is, out of all the learning management systems, I found this one to be the easiest. There's a nice welcome page. It tells you kind of where to go, and what's nice, especially if this is an online blended class, there are assignments that are due by Wednesday, which is really the in-class participation in activities, and then assignments due by the following Sunday. But there's an announcement kind of reminding students like, oh hey, this is coming up, so start maybe reading about these chapters. There's also on pages additional resources, so it has the syllabus, it has additional hyperlinks from videos, it has the readings, it has access to the books and that type of stuff. And then under assignments, it's broken down into the timeline due date order, so once it hits a certain point, it can open up and students can start looking at what the assignments are going to be for that week, what they need to get done, how to prepare, and it gives a very detailed breakdown of what to expect for the assignment, the length of time, anything that they're going to need for the assignment, anything that they're going to do in class or they have to do at home, along with additional resources that they can utilize or that they might need, and just some extra sources that they can utilize through the professor. So it is very handy, very online. Even though this is a really face-to-face class, there are additional supplements and additional sources online that can help them be successful in the classroom. And that is it. Any questions?